Hello, my name is Kay Slonway. I'm the new treasurer at the Khyber, and I'm going to be giving the financial summary report for 2020 to 2021. Before I do that, I want to say thanks to Mallory Ross, who is the previous treasurer, for passing on her knowledge in a way that was accessible to me, and also providing access to the previous year's PowerPoints for the financial summaries at the AGM. This is all super new to me, and I'm going to do my best to convey the information that I have in the slides. I definitely invite, if anybody has any context or questions or anything at all, to please add that at the end of this presentation, at the end of this recording. And also the financials from this year, or I guess this past year, have been quite different because of COVID. So, I'll get into that a little bit. Okay, so this is a breakdown of total revenues and total expenses, and also net income from 2016 to 2021. The Khyber has grown a whole lot over the past, 5 years. And for this year, our total revenues were $182,827.10. And total expenses were $150,696.10. And we have quite a big surplus from 2020 to 2021 because of the added public sector funding. We got quite a bit more federal funding this past year. So you can see here that our net income is a surplus of $32,131, which I believe that Hannah and Bria in programming have been working hard and doing a good job spending this time and funding some really exciting projects. And this here is a chart of the visual representation of the previous slide, showing the growth of the Khyber over the past 5 years. And it's really exciting to see how much the Khyber has grown, both in revenue and also expenses. Expenses mean that we're funding projects and paying people and paying artists and paying staff. So that's exciting. So this is a breakdown of the earned revenue from 2020 to 2021. The earned revenue is predictably a lot lower this past year than it has been in previous years. I have an example here from 2019 to 2020 that the total earned revenue was $7,821. So this year it was $994.29. And that makes a lot of sense. A lot of the revenue from the Khyber has come from bar sales and, in-person events. So that makes a lot of sense. It's nice to see that we still have some money for people are still getting memberships. So that's good to see. So this is private sector revenue, which means any money that the Khyber gets that is not through the government, as far as my understanding. So there's been some good fundraising here, and our total private revenue this past year was $6,418.47. And in 2019 and 2021, the total was $2,807. So that's a really nice big difference, big growth. You can see that people are supporting and donating. The corporate donations were like quite a lot more than in previous years, and individual donations as well. So thank you if you donated. Okay, take a sip of water. So here is a breakdown of the public sector revenue, the federal public sector revenue. And something new here is the CEWS and CSRS income, which are both COVID-related grants. The Canada Council for the Arts operating was $68,000, and then the Canada Council project grant of $18,400, and the total public sector revenue for 2020 to 2021 was $127,868.05. And that's like substantially larger than it has been in previous years. So it's a $55,998 increase compared to the 2019 to 2020 public sector revenue of $71,870. And I hope I recognize that I'm kind of just like saying numbers right now, and that can be kind of boring, and I would love to be able to provide a little bit more context, but because I am a bit newer to this role, I don't have a whole lot of context for these things, but definitely invite anybody who wants to add to do so. Great. So the public sector revenue on the provincial and municipal level, I wasn't able to do a pie chart for some reason, so it's just a regular chart. The provincial funding was actually quite a bit lower than it had been in previous years. So this year it was $40,497.50. When in 2019 and 2020, the revenue total was $67,975. So that's a large decrease, but obviously from the previous slide, we can see that that was made up for in federal funding. And then the municipal public sector revenue has stayed the same at $7,000, and that's HRM operating from the Arts Board. Great, and so this is a breakdown of the total public sector revenue. As you can see here, we just went over the numbers, so I won't get too much into it. But we had a $35,520 increase in 2020 to 2021 in public sector revenue. And for the final slide, we have expenses. So let me just make this bigger for myself. Yeah, so the total expense for 2020 to 2021 was $150,696.10, which is a small decrease from from 2019 to 2020, which makes sense that it's a little bit less. Even though we have a surplus, it's just there hasn't been as much in-person stuff, but everybody's done such a great job at adapting and providing really wonderful online programming, and also the Khyber was able to donate $100 or $800 to various people and things. So that's why the fundraising cost is a little bit higher than previous years. And yeah, I think that's about it. It's really nice to still see, that we've spent over $70,000 on programming and administration, which means like staff and everything that that goes into paying workers and artists, which is the goal. And of course, we still have facility operations, still have to pay rent and everything like that, even though we didn't have access to the space. But it is a little bit lower than in previous years. Yeah. So I think that's about it. Thank you so much. I hope that that made sense and wasn't too dry. I really appreciate you listening to me talk about money. Okay, bye.